Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negro. Now, for the benefit of those of you who are not familiar with the channel or watching this channel for the first time, the reason why it is called Uncommon Sense because here on this platform, we talk about everyday issues where we try to find logical solutions, but not everyone uses logic. So, for that reason, it is called Uncommon Sense. I want to let everybody know that I'm currently live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. I also need to let everybody know that the subscriber mode has been enabled. Meaning, if you are not a subscriber and if you wish to enter a comment in the chat, you will need to subscribe to the channel. As always, excuse me, want to give a huge shout out to all those who have subscribed to the channel and become members of the Uncommon Folk. Whether you've been a member since the beginning or just recently become a member, I really appreciate all the love and support all of you have given me. I also want to give a huge shout out to all those who follow me on social media. I also want to give a huge shout out to all those who allow me to enter into your devices, and a huge shout out from all the people who watch from the clouds. So, what I'm going to ask you to do, if you have not done so already, I'm going to ask you to please subscribe, like, and set the bell notification to all. So, therefore, whenever I do produce content, you will have the opportunity to catch it live and or catch it on the playback. I have a feeling this is going to be a relatively short stream. It depends to see how if there's a lot of activity. I have an interesting topic which I will get into in a couple of moments. Before we get, before we get into the topic, I want to let everybody know that the link to join the panel has been pinned. If anyone at any point wishes to join the panel, they may do so. Anyone wishes to add any comments in the chat may do so as well. Oh, I ask that you please keep it respectable because if you fail to do so, you will be blocked. It is that simple. So, with that being said, we're going to have another episode of In My Words. Okay, first of all, I want to give a huge shout out to the Texas Rangers who had just won their first World Series trophy in their entire history. They defeated the Arizona Diamondbacks 4 games to 1. Now, let me just give you a little history regarding the Texas Rangers. Okay, it's a franchise that's been in existence since 1961. Now, originally, they were known as the Washington Senators. Now, there were two teams with the same name. The original team, which was the Washington Senators, from 1901 to 1960, played in Washington, D.C. In fact, a common remark was made regarding the um, Washington team was first in war, first in peace, and last in the National League. Meaning that for much of its history, the Washington Senators were not a very good team. Now, in 1960, the team relocated to Minneapolis, St. Paul, and they became known as the Minnesota Twins. So, as a result, another team which was created in Washington, D.C., known as the Washington Senators. Now, throughout their history, which was about 11 years long, they were not very successful as a baseball team. In fact, they only had one winning season, which was in 1969. After the 1971 season, The team relocated to Arlington, Texas, where they became known as the Texas Rangers. And let's just say things didn't go well. They had two straight seasons where they lost 100 ball games. And then in time, they gotten better. They actually made the World Series twice, only to be defeated by National League teams. So, unfortunately, throughout their history, um, they've been known as a team that was not very competitive until this year, which they had a very successful season and they made it to the playoffs. And this time they were successful in gaining their first World Series title. So I just want to say a huge shout out to the Texas Rangers and all the fans in Arlington, okay? And this serves as an example of perseverance. And the fact of the matter is, if you are determined to achieve your goals, you can achieve your goals. Sometimes it may take you longer, but what helps if you continue to be persistent and don't give up. Okay. So the fact that the Texas Rangers, after 62 years of their history, never be able to win a World Series title, the fact that they were finally able to do so in 2023, that means a great deal. And actually, they follow a tradition of teams where they have been known to be losers and then only to come back winning. Okay, a good example is the Mets, the New York Mets. Throughout the most of the 60s, they were never really a good team until 1969, where they had their miracle season and they defeated the Baltimore Orioles to become World Series champs. Another example is the Boston Red Sox, who uh, for a long time were never able to win a World Series title. They finally did it in 2004. Another example is the Chicago Cubs, who one of the longest droughts of not winning a World Series, which was 108 years. And they finally won the World Series in 2016. So the reason why I say all this is to encourage all of you not to give up on your dreams, not to give up on your aspirations. Continue to apply yourself and and be disciplined, and you will achieve your goals. So again, a huge shout out to the Texas Rangers for their success. And I'm sure there are many diehard Texas Ranger fans which are still celebrating, and I think they'll probably be celebrating for the month of November, and they should. Okay, it's not often that you have a team like the Texas Rangers, which unfortunately has a history of not doing well, to finally actually winning a World Series title. So kudos to them. So that being said, we're going to get into the main topic. So, as you can tell by the thumbnail, the topic for tonight, TikTok has been banned in New York. In all fairness, it's a little bit clickbaitish, okay? It does that when you come up with a title, you try to keep it short and to the point. So you can't like make it like you're doing a War and Peace novel. Let me explain to you what was the inspiration behind tonight's topic. We received an email notification from the ad agency stating that TikTok has been banned from all municipal devices, whether it be laptops, whether it be computers, whether it be desktop computers or any type of device. Now, um, TikTok is a social service social platform. It's become very popular, particularly with the youth of today, meaning people under 30, where people post all sorts of stuff on YouTube, I mean TikTok. Some of them funny, some of them positive, some of them, let's keep it real, cringe worthy. Okay. So let me just read to you what the director says. TikTok is a social media application and website with billions of users around the globe. The city of New York has banned the use of TikTok on all government-owned devices and has issued the following guidance. Directs that TikTok must not be used or accessed on government devices and requires that all city employees, contractors, and any other person with access to city-owned and managed devices and networks not to access TikTok. This mandate extends to contractors and devices for city business. Okay, let me explain to you what that means. As municipal employees, we have access to computers, whether it be a laptop or whether it be a desktop. We also have access to tablets and smartphones and things of that nature. Okay. Now, anyone that has been around and seen TikTok, you're seeing a little bit of everything. You see the good, the bad, the ugly, and the cringe. And some of the stuff that they've been posting on TikTok is pretty disgusting. Okay. And also, there's been some concern whether the Chinese government is using TikTok for other purposes, mainly to spy on the United States and its citizens. I don't know if that is the case. I can't say yay or nay. Okay, so and this directive is not, it does not only apply to municipal employees like myself, but basically anyone that has any interaction with the city of New York who has access to city equipment. Because we know for a fact that the city uses private contractors. The city also gives access to their databases to nonprofits for multiple purposes. And anyone that has to do with the city of New York. Okay. Now, okay. Now, when it comes to staff with city-owned devices, it is against citywide policy to access TikTok via application or browser on a city-owned device. It is also against the acceptable use policy on agency-provided MiFi device to gain access to the internet to access TikTok via browser on a city-owned device. Basically, what it means is you're not supposed to use city equipment to access TikTok, period. Now, one thing we have to bear in mind, city equipment is for city use only. Okay. It is not used to do your home shopping. It is not used to get on social media. It is not used to run a side business or what have you. We as municipal employees are granted access to multiple platforms. Okay. For the purposes of doing our jobs, whatever it might be. And there's also a code of conduct regarding how we should use access to these devices. Under no circumstances are we allowed to use city equipment or city access for our own personal use. We are not allowed to access data resources unless it's for specific purposes. And I see here we have my cyber daughter. Good evening. Yeah, there is a concern. This is what she says. China collects data from device once connected to the app. That's another concern. Thank you very much for bringing it up to my attention. Now, some of you might remember that I did a stream regarding TikTok being banned in Montana. Okay. So and actually okay, let me say, I think there's another comment. Oh, I don't think the government wants China to know about it. Yeah, you know what? That might be another reason why um, New York City has does not want us to gain access to TikTok using their equipment. Now, I don't know about you, but virtually everybody, well, maybe put it this way, I would say at least 95% of the people out there have at least one smartphone or tablet or a laptop or desktop so they can gain access. So why use city equipment? Also, you have TikTok on your phone. China is listening to your 24 colors, which okay. Uh so my question, Denise, and I would appreciate if you would enter it in the chat. I know that you're on your YouTube sabbatical. Oh, okay. You read my mind. You read my mind, daughter. Thank you very much. Oh boy. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Now, one thing we have to bear in mind is this: whenever we on city devices, they are monitoring our interactions. Okay, so if you decide to use city equipment to do food shopping or purchase things online, or you try to create what's called a susu or things of that nature, guess what? MIS, Management Information Systems, is aware of it. And the fact of the matter is, you can be brought up on charges, okay? Because with all due respect, city equipment is for city use only, okay? And this is especially true regarding some of us that's working remotely 1 to 2 days per week, with sometimes with an agency issued device or our personal devices, which makes me to another case in point. If you use your personal device, whether it be a laptop or a tablet or a smartphone, for city business, be mindful. Once you're connected remotely to your workstation, MIS can see everything that you do. Okay, so you need to bear that in mind. I know, Denise, you're on your YouTube sabbatical. It would be great if you could. Oh my goodness! If they try to fire you, blame it on the COVID-19. Oh my goodness gracious. Good evening, Kesha. Yes, let's get those legs up, please. Thank you very much. And actually, Kesha is yeah, you know what? I understand. I understand. You know, you did share with me. I'm sorry that you're not feeling well. Hopefully you'll recover real soon. Okay. But actually, one thing I noticed that Montana is not the only state that is trying to ban TikTok from the devices. I mean, there are other states that are doing the same thing. Okay. Part of it has to do with concern regarding breach of security. Part of it is, let's keep it real, folks. There's been some cringy stuff on these YouTube streams, okay, with these TikTok streams. Um, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share an article regarding. Oh dear, I am so sorry to hear about that. Yeah. All I can say is continue drinking tea and any other herbal remedies. Uh, oh, I'm so sorry. That's right. You did tell me that my cyber grandson got his first cold. And I'm sorry to hear about that. I'll, I'll say a prayer for all three of you this weekend if you don't mind. Okay. So, with that being said, um, let me see what's going on here. Oops. Worst part is that baby seems almost all of it. Yeah, you know what? It seems like when one person gets it, it spreads to the rest of the family. Okay. You're quite welcome, daughter. Uh, in my case, for better or for worse, since I live alone, therefore, if I come down with the bug, it's just me. I guess that's probably the only advantage of living alone. Okay. Yes. Oh, by the way, I do have some information regarding my special someone. I'll send you. I'll DM you tomorrow. Uh-huh. But let me just share the article. Like I said, I don't think I'm going to be on that long. And it's just that as a municipal employee, this kind of piqued my curiosity. So what I'm going to do is share my screen. Just give me a moment. Let's see. Okay. Yes, love is in the air. I get it. Okay, just give me a moment. Oops. Okay. So this appeared on CNBC. NYC bans TikTok on government devices. Okay. And here's some of the key points. New York City banned TikTok on government-owned devices Wednesday, pointing to security concerns that may have made the app a target of bipartisan security across the country. Congress already voted to ban TikTok on federal devices last year, and several states have taken similar steps. Policy maker concerns generally stems from TikTok's ownership by China-based tech company ByteDance. Okay, let's And that's Mayor. New York City banned TikTok on government-owned devices Wednesday, pointing to security concerns that have made the app a target of bipartisan scrutiny across the country. Congress already voted to ban TikTok on federal devices last year, and several states have taken similar steps. The concern generally stems from TikTok's ownership by China-based tech company ByteDance, since many policymakers fear that structure could make U.S. users' information vulnerable to being accessed by the Chinese government, is forced to hand over information to comply with Chinese law. I'll say I'll follow you to TikTok. That's like, oh God. Okay. A New York City Hall spokesperson told WNBC in a statement that the ban was a result of the city's cyber command's conclusion that TikTok poses a security threat to city's technical network. City agencies have 30 days to remove the app from government-owned devices. The bans bring New York City in line with federal government. Still, broader action against TikTok beyond government-owned devices have remained elusive. After a rush of legislation and a hearing on with TikTok's CEO before Congress earlier this year, momentum is for placing greater restrictions on the app has waned in favor to other issues. TikTok has presented a plan to the U.S. government that says it will help ensure the security of U.S. user data, but it's done little to assuage the concerns of policymakers. TikTok declined to comment on the New York City ban. Okay. And we're gonna, okay. Now, let me just give you my take, okay? Okay. I don't know if I can do it with my busted out left knee, but if we don't mind dancing with a cane, that's fine. But on a serious note, I have a question. As a municipal employee, why are you using city equipment to access social media? And I'm not just referring to TikTok, I'm referring to Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and other social media platforms. Now, I'm gonna be honest. I have used my desktop to get access to YouTube a couple of times, but that's why I have my smartphone, and also I can bring in my laptop and connect to a hotspot and just gain access to social media. Okay. One thing we have to bear in mind and continue to bear in mind is that city equipment is for city use. Okay. Now, there have been stories. I mean, there's one place getting disciplined for getting in using the databases for our own personal use. Okay. Let me give you an example. As a municipal employee, I have access to databases where I can gain information regarding individuals receiving social services, whether it be public assistance, food stamps, and things like that nature. I am granted access to that database with the understanding that I'm only going to use access to the database um, because I have to work on a particular assignment, okay, or a particular case. I am not to use that database to find out if this person is receiving social services. It is not my place to use access to databases to help another person. It is for me only to use it as necessary in order to perform my daily duties. And the fact of the matter is, each time I log into um, a city device, the agency is monitoring my coming and goings. Okay. Now, since 2020, I've been granted remote access to my workstation, meaning with my own laptop, I can remotely gain access to my workstation. Okay. Okay. However, I cannot use that access for my own personal use. I can only use it for to complete my daily duties and nothing else. Okay. If I attempt to use city equipment for non-city use, I can be disciplined and I can be terminated from my employment. Okay. And unfortunately, we have heard stories of municipal employees using access to databases for their own personal use, whether it be to spy on someone, whether it be to help someone to get benefits where they're not entitled, whether it be um, to spy on a person. So with that access, there is a great deal of responsibility involved. Okay. And every time that we log on to a device, we are in essence stating in agreement, yes, we will use our access to these devices and these platforms only to conduct agency business. I mean, there have been municipal employees that use city email to send chain letters. There have been city employees that use equipment to print out personal invitations and do side businesses. Okay. Okay. Um, it's not a question, autonomy, what to do or what to do. It's the fact of the matter is there is a great deal of responsibility given access to these databases. And actually, there have been the municipal employees that lost their jobs because they used their access for their own personal use. Okay. As again, as a municipal employee, I'm granted access to many things. Okay. Um, and one of the things that I tried to explain, okay. Now I see here we have a guest. So before we allow our guest to come in, let me just state for the record that the views of those who appear on the panel are not necessarily those of the host or the channel. Any attempt to copy the material without the consent of the host is prohibited. By appearing on the call, you waive your rights to your image. Some of the views people hold may be considered offensive to some viewers. If you do not like the content, you can block the channel. And now we will welcome our guest. Okay. Good evening.
Good evening, Don Jose. How you doing?
Okay, how you doing tonight?
I don't know. I, it's funny. I'm just sitting back, and I'm just like, dag. I'm dat popping just to get doxxed. Yo, it's funny. That's all I gotta say.
Okay. Now, the topic for tonight is that the fact that the use of TikTok has been banned from all municipal devices. So, what is
Okay,
your
okay.
yeah?
So
Go ahead.
when you say municipal devices, that means all the people who are like in government and work for the city, right?
Okay, when I mean devices, desktop, laptops, tablets, smartphones, or any device where you gain access to the internet. And that applies to anyone that's been granted access to any of the city's platforms.
Mm. Well, to me is this. In a way, TikTok did it to themselves, and I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
Because if you really look in the time of Donald Trump, right? I
Yes.
mean his presidency, he was trying to clamp down on a lot of Chinese owned companies because he was saying that they were actually spying on people, which is true. This is why TikTok. He wanted to enforce TikTok to be partially American owned. A lot of people don't know that.
Hmm.
So the way that TikTok was, from what my understanding was, TikTok there was letting a lot of R-rated stuff fly on that app. You know what I'm saying? People getting butt
Yes.
naked, um, everybody procreating online and everything like that. TikTok before the pandemic, like before and maybe during a little bit of the pandemic, was actually a R-rated show before they actually clamped down on the rules. And now there's certain, like say, if you say certain political things, whether it'll be against China or certain people who are of the elite of European countries, 9 times out of 10, your platform will be deleted on TikTok.
Okay. Well,
So
first of all, good evening. I'm sorry. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for stopping by. I'm sorry. Continue.
yeah, so with that said about the TikTok and everything like that being banned in New York, I'm like, okay, after New York is I'm just waiting for Boston and Philadelphia. I'm just waiting for that next.
Um, Actually, I have read that it's being banned in 34, as far as 34 other states, as far as municipal devices is concerned. Now, this is the $1 million question, which is the following: um, Why use city equipment for non-city use?
Okay, for example, you remember back in the you remember like when they started putting those free internet phones in New York, right? This is
Yes.
like around 2013, 2015 or 16 or something like that. I remember
Yes.
because I was living in New York at that time,
Uh
and
huh.
it wasn't that bad until I guess when K2 started hitting. that's when you started seeing bums actually charging their phones or trying to look at the internet or whatsoever. And then when it was the pandemic, it started even getting worse because certain people was not respecting the space and everything like that. And when I came to New York, like around the pandemic to meet a friend, it was like the way that 42nd Street was at that time was like was not the 42nd Street I knew. You had bums sleeping everywhere, and it was just like wow during the pandemic.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah.
So
Believe me, I
if you
remember. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, so if you really look at it, all the municipal sites, it doesn't really have to be computers or anything like that. It also has to be those internet access things too. So it varies.
Yeah. I mean, I look. I remember. I remember once upon a time, Times Square was basically a very seedy area because you had the peep shows, and then you have the ladies of the night out there displaying their wares, so to speak. Um, now, this is now aside by the fact is concerned regarding accessing your personal data. Okay, um, you can use TikTok for positive use or negative use. It's the same thing with a lot of the other social platforms. Unfortunately, you see a lot of garbage here on TikTok, and basically, and some of the stuff is like, I can't believe that actually allowed um, to produce this content. I think at some point it's going to get to the point when they're going to start to clean things up, just like um, YouTube and other platforms will start to clean this up because let's keep it real. Platforms want to make money from advertising. They're not going to do that if you have individuals creating questionable content. Okay.
Sorry, I had to mute the mic because of there was a lot of loud blasting.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
So
If you really look at it, right, this was bound to happen. And remember, I don't know if it was last year or matter of fact, I'm trying to think. I think it was last year. You and I, we was actually talking about the same topic on one of your streams or one of my streams, if I recollect. And we were
okay.
just talking, and we were talking about how TikTok, when the TikTok ban just was first implemented, I forgot what state it was.
I think it was in Montana.
Yeah, but you see, all this, all this right there. I'm glad that certain things are happening the way it is. You know why? Because as soon as some of these negative content creators um will not be most of the negative content creators will be in big cities, right? So if this is implemented in all of the 50 states, and some of these toxic content creators are municipal employees, they're gonna have a lot of money taken away from them.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, look. I mean, look, whenever you know, and one thing we have to bear in mind, and I said this earlier. Whenever you use a municipal computer or tablet or a smartphone, the agency involved is looking to at every way that you go on those devices. If you decide to use city equipment to go into places you should not go, you cannot hide it. You can deny it, but they know it. And you can't be brought up on charges. You can't be disciplined. And in some cases, you can lose your job.
Exactly.
Okay. In fact, let me just the case in point. When I do my content, you will never see me talk about the agency I'm employed with. Never have, never will. If anything, the only thing I will say is I am a municipal employee. Okay?
Right.
And that's all I'm going to say because there is a code of conduct. And in our code of conduct, we are not allowed to say anything that will cast a negative light in our employer.
Got you.
Okay?
Like for me, well, I work in the food industry. That's all I say. But it turns out that certain individuals found out where I work at as well, and was sending threats via social media towards my wife's Facebook account on how they're going to try to make me lose my job and call the cops, all just because I'm friends with certain people that nobody agreed with.
Yes. I understand. And and I have said this on multiple occasions. I do not police what other people do on their platforms. What other people say and do, that's totally up to them. Okay.
Right.
They can have whoever they wish.
Hmm.
They can interact with whomever they wish.
Exactly.
The only thing I ask that if for some reason I'm on the same platform with the individual we're not having issues with, that we make that the host makes sure that things don't go awry. That is all I ask.
Yeah, I try to do that with my platform. So therefore, even if it could have went worse or anything like that, I try to maintain control within my platform because my platform is open to everybody who is a positive being and everything. But if somebody's gonna come with negativity or try to diss anybody that I am friends with, 9 times out of 10 they're gonna get kicked off my platform. And there was one person that I had to actually kick off my platform when I actually first started.
Yes.
You all know who that person is.
Okay. Well, we you know what we're not going to mention it here.
Exactly.
Okay. But and I think individuals need to bear this in mind. When you go to another person's platform, regardless who at that person, who is the creator of that platform, you are in their cyber home, so to speak. You must comply with whatever the house rules that the creator has created. If you do not, you will be removed and you will be blocked. It is that simple. And there's been individuals who had to be blocked because they violated that principle. It happened not only on my platform, it's happened on your platform, and it's happened on multiple platforms.
Yep.
Okay. But the fact of the matter is, I decided to pick this topic tonight because, like I said, I am a municipal employee, and even though I don't use my computer to get into TikTok, of course, my supervisor have to have a discussion with me to make sure I understand that I am not to use my computer to gain access into TikTok. Okay.
Right. I mean, with me, it's like what, like in the industry that where I work at, I don't really be on social media that much. If I do, I don't post really where I work at or anything like that because since I am a content creator, and I guess I was doing that for a year, I never really posted where I worked at. I might have posted stuff while I might have been in the lunchroom, but I never really tried to post where I really work at because since there's a lot of people that have hate me just because I say what I am and I just keep on my phone on my toes on who I am. You have certain individuals that are just looking for a way just to try to mess with you just because, or try to quiet you if you have a different opinion than theirs. And
Yes.
for 2 weeks, I've been dealing with this crap. So I'm just chilling with it.
Yeah. I understand that, and um, I have learned what little. I don't want to say I'm an expert, but my experiences with another YouTube creator who is also a municipal employee regarding what they that person should do and avoid because we can we can be uh, brought up on disciplinary charges if we speak ill regarding our respected employers. I mean, we can think what we wish. The problem is when we actually state it using our platforms, and particularly in my case, since I use my government name attached, which is attached to my platform.
Yeah.
Okay. But I have a feeling it's going to get to the point when it's probably going to be banned in all municipal governments across the United States. It's already been banned in all federal agencies. It's been banned in 34 agencies in 34 states. I think eventually it's going to get to the point it's going to go cover all 50 states. And my question is the following: um, Why use agency equipment to get on social media? Why? I mean,
I mean, if you really look at it, some municipal employees and some federal employees, if they ban that, I'm just saying that some of the municipal or federal employees might be doing an investigation, if you know what I mean.
yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, and one thing that I want to make it perfectly clear, because people, I'm sure there's going to be people are going to be complaining, well, we don't have freedom of speech. Yes, we have freedom of speech, but there are certain guidelines, there's certain code conduct that we as municipal employees must follow. We cannot share confidential information on our social platforms.
Right.
We cannot speak about our supervisors, and we might think that our supervisors is a complete jackass. Doesn't mean that we're gonna state it here on YouTube or TikTok or what have you.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, we cannot uh, use social media to criticize our coworkers because that could be problematic.
Oh, yeah. Trust me. In my job back in the day, I used to have my supervisors. I mean, my former job. Then after I got terminated and everything like that. My former supervisors, some of them actually became my enemies, And they went up and they were sending me threats like, "Oh, they're gonna call the cops on me, or they're gonna send some goons to get at me, et cetera, et cetera." When I actually was given a friend, may she rest in peace, some advice on how to deal with the stalker that was working at her job, that was working at the job trying to stalk on her and everything like that.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm sorry that Denise is under the weather. It would have been wonderful to get her point of view. I understand, she's still dealing with her social media sabbatical, which is fine because hey, she has a child to deal with and a husband as well, so it's understandable.
I mean, right? Yeah, I wonder how Radical is doing because we haven't heard from him in like weeks.
Yeah, that's true. I hope he's doing well. Um, I think I'll just send a message to him, and DM him tomorrow.
Yeah,
Just to make asking if he's okay, and then whenever he's able, I'm sure he'll give a response. Yeah, I mean we haven't seen Radical in a while. True Teacher, we haven't seen too much. And actually, he did appear in the chat when I had my stream regarding Cynthia G
hmm
having her channel deleted for the fourth time.
yeah,
And that in itself speaks a lot.
yeah.
So,
Well, I'm
uh,
about to hop off, Don Jose. It was a pleasure you having me on your panel.
well, thank you very much for stopping by. And I will ask that if you have not done so, please subscribe to Don Amando's platform. He does produce content on a regular basis, so let's show some love to a great guy.
Thank you.
All right, so take care, have a good weekend, and give my regards to your better half.
I will.
All right, take care.
Okay.
Okay, bye. Now, let me just give you my take when it comes to all this. Whatever we might believe, whatever we might think, each municipal entity does have the right to do whatever they need or perceive that they need to make sure that whatever data is protected, make sure that uh, city equipment is used for city use. Now, I know there are municipal employees that use city equipment for shopping. They use it to purchase their airline tickets. They use it to buy clothing online and things of that nature. But if you really want to avoid uh, a lot of trouble, your best bet is not to use city equipment for non-city use. Okay. And another thing, if you use your laptop to gain remote access to your workstation, the agency monitors and sees everywhere you go. Okay? That's something that must be understood. So there's really not an expectancy of privacy. Okay? And that goes with using agency email for any communication that is not city related. Okay. And one thing that I have stated, and I stated to some of my fellow union reps about how they should not use their job email um, to communicate regarding non municipal business. Okay. Because again, the agency can monitor and we'll monitor wherever we go, and you can be brought up on charges. And to be perfectly honest, there have been municipal employees that have been disciplined for using city equipment for non-city use. What is non-city use? Basically, you're using the agency laptop, the agency desktop, the agency tablet, or the agency mobile device for your own personal business. Okay? No. And I recall from March of 2020 to September of 2021, which was 18 months, where we were working remotely. Okay. There have been, okay, I'm going to use the word allegations because I cannot prove it. Allegations of municipal employees uh, working remotely at places other than their own home. Okay. Whether it be they're on vacation, whether it be they're from going to the Virgin Islands or the Dominican Republic or Puerto Rico. And let me make this perfectly clear. If you're going to work remotely from anywhere other than the address of record, meaning your home address, you must have prior authorization to do so. If you attempt to use to work remotely anywhere other than the address of record, you can't be brought up on charges because every time that you log on, your location has been spotted. So for those municipal employees who work remotely, please make sure that you're working remotely from the address of record. Which leads me to one more thing that's becoming an issue. Okay. Now, under our contract, we were granted the ability of some employees to work remotely from home 2 days out of the week. What's happening is that you have city employees who are working remotely 2 days a week and then calling out the following day for whatever reason. When you do that, you make it harder for everybody else. Because basically, what you're doing is working remotely more than you're allowed to do so. And yes, you can be brought up on charges. Okay. And it is unfortunate that we have municipal employees that are doing that because what they're doing is making it harder for everybody else. Okay. So I'm gonna ask that if there's anyone that's watching this platform, this stream, and you're doing that thing, stop, because you're just making it harder for everybody else. Now, I appreciate the fact that we have some people watching from the clouds. I would appreciate even further if you're not done so, to please hit that like button, okay? It's not going to hurt you, and actually it does help with the algorithm. So, meaning that no one else is going to hop on, I'm going to stop to wrap this up. Now I'm going to do something Sunday that I haven't done in quite a while. I'm going to be doing a Sunday call-in show around 9:30, 10 o'clock, and the topic will be what is depression? Okay. So we're going to talk about what it is, okay, and what causes this depression. and then we will follow up with how to deal with it. Okay. Just as a reminder, um, next week there's going to be a Sunday call-in show, a Wednesday call-in show, and a Friday call-in show. Usually I do a call-in show on Tuesdays, but on this occasion I will not. So, with that being said, I do appreciate all the love and all the support all of you have given me. Okay, and I'm gonna ask that if you have not done so, please let other people know about this channel. Okay, and of course, um, subscribe to Latin Splaining. I know she has not done any content lately, but she does have some wonderful content. And I'm going to ask the same thing regarding Donna Mondo. So, with that being said, I'm going to wrap this up. No, it's okay because I understand that the 18th letter has a stream, so and I was on it a little bit because I wanted to show my support to him as well. So it's just that it just happens that this is one of those occasions when we have two or more people who are on at the same time. So it does happen. I mean, hey, that's reality. So just as a reminder, my next stream will be on Sunday night, and it's going to be discussing what is depression. As I alluded to earlier this week, I will be dealing with mental health issues in the month of November because the reality is, um, well, the holidays is a happy time for many of us, but some of us, it's not. Okay, unfortunately, going in starting from Thanksgiving, from Thanksgiving to New Year's, depressions increase dramatically, and unfortunately, the number of self deletions. And actually, the 18th letter has an interesting topic regarding the late Kevin Samuels and Cynthia G. They're both the same. I will submit to you, they're not. Okay. The difference between Kevin Samuels and Cynthia G. While some people might have issues with the way he expressed himself, he was trying to do his part to improve the African American community and how they should strive to be the best version of themselves, while Cynthia G, all she wanted was to hate and destroy the African American community with her hatred towards black men. Okay. And we already see the difference. Even after his passing, his channel continues and is growing. Okay. And Cynthia G had her channel taken down 4 times. And you would think by now she would try to comply with YouTube guidelines. Now, again, people will say that it's arbitrary. All I'm going to say is the following. If it's arbitrary, why give them the animal that they need to shut down your channel? Life would be so much easier if you simply try to comply with the guidelines. Okay, that's all I'm going to say on that. But in any case, I do welcome your comments after the stream is over, and you're more than welcome to enter your comments. Just keep it respectable, okay? So in any case, I'm going to wrap this up the same way that I always do, okay? We must do everything possible to minimize our influence with the mentally and intellectually challenged. Because if we fail to do so, we will be infected by their stupidity and massive insanity. This has been another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. Wishing all of you a very pleasant good night. Take care and peace.